I said in my first speech, my favorite thing to do was always sports. That was always my biggest hobby. And growing up, baseball was always my favorite sport. That's why I decided to tell this speech about Roger Maris and him breaking the home run record in 1961. It was just an event that was always just something that I was really interested in. So, for those old enough to remember, 1961 was one of the most memorable seasons in Major League Baseball history. There were two New York Yankees that were trying to eclipse one of the best records ever in Major League Baseball. This was the home run record set by Babe Ruth in 1927. Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle were in the prime of their careers, and both were trying to outdo each other to actually beat the record. Mickey at the time was loved by all the New Yorkers. The fans, the media, they all loved him. However, they didn't like Roger Maris as much. They saw him as somebody just from the western part where he just didn't seem like a true New York Yankee. One, however, did break the record, and that was Roger Maris. He was able to, put all the bad things that he went through aside, and he was able to actually break the record on October 1st, 1961, where he broke Babe Ruth's record, hitting 61 home runs. Just to give you a little introduction of Roger Maris, he was drafted by the Cleveland Indians, and in the first season, he hit 14 home runs. He would later then be traded to the Kansas City Royals, and then in the beginning of his fourth year, he was traded to the New York Yankees. In that year, he finished second in home run totals at all the Major League players. The person that hit the most home runs that year was actually his teammate, Mickey Mantle. However, that year, 1960, wouldn't be the one that most everybody remembered. It would be the following year in 1961. Just a little kind of history of the home run record. In 1927, Babe Ruth finished with 60 homers in 154 games. It was the most anybody's ever seen at that time. Then, that year, 1961, Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle were the two that everybody was thinking that could actually break this record. They started off slow, but then they kind of gained more and more home runs. Throughout the year, Roger Maris would have the most home runs, and then Mickey Mantle would have the most home runs. They would just keep switching back and forth. Then, and as like I said, Mickey Mantle was the fan favorite. He was being cheered on by everybody. Everybody wanted to see him break the record. They saw him as the actual New Yorker. But unfortunately, he got injured towards the end of the season, and he was sidelined for the remaining of the games. So, if anybody was going to break the record, it was going to be Roger Maris. But then, as the last few games started coming, many people weren't sure if he was actually going to be able to break the record. It came down to the last game of the year, where Roger Maris had 60 home runs, which was tied for Babe Ruth, but wasn't more than Babe Ruth. So in the last game, his first at bat, he took a deep fly to left field, but it was caught for the out. Then, the second time he came up, he hit a deep fly ball to right field. However, that one did go out. He done it. He hit 61 home runs and was now the new home run king. After that happened, it should have been clear that Roger Maris was the sole owner of the home run record. However, those same detractors that I spoke about earlier were still trying to take this record away from him. Many said that he shouldn't own this record because he hit 61 home runs in 7 more games than Babe Ruth actually did. In the 1920s, Major League Baseball, they only played 154 games. However, in 1961, the season was 162 games, so many saw that he had an unfair advantage by playing 7 more games. Even the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Commissioner Frick, said that Babe Ruth should still be the home run king and it shouldn't be Maris. However, it is important to note that Commissioner Frick and Babe Ruth were really good friends, so it's kind of obvious to see why Commissioner Frick thought that. It wouldn't be until 1991 that Major League Baseball voted to give Roger Maris sole ownership of the home run record. However, Maris died 6 years earlier due to cancer, never knowing that he actually held the record himself. His record wouldn't be broken until 1998, when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa both broke it in the same year. A few years later, Barry Bonds broke their record. So, that had 3 people that hit more than Roger Maris. However, now it seems like there's more supporters for Roger Maris because now they're saying that those 3 guys mentioned shouldn't even be considered as the home run kings because they're all linked to steroids. Many feel that it's not fair that if they took steroids and Roger Maris did it just on natural ability, that it's not fair to Roger Maris. Just in conclusion, I just wanted just to say that that 1961 was one of the greatest years anybody had ever seen in Major League Baseball. Nobody had ever come close to breaking Babe Ruth's record until Roger Maris did it. It had controversy before, during, and many years after the record was broken. No matter your personal opinion, though, who should actually be the home run king, something that is for sure that the numbers that Roger put up that year will be something that is always remembered. And just on the side, there's a great movie out that's called 61, and it's actually about the home run race. It was directed by Billy Crystal, and it just kind of shows you what the 2 players went through trying to break the record, and then how ultimately Roger Maris broke it.